Hello, my name is Tom Francis with Versa Garage Products. Today, we're going to walk you through installing and building one of our pantry style cabinets. All of our cabinets are built the same way, so whether it's a tall, an upper, a wall cabinet, you'll be able to get a run through of exactly how we do it. Today, we're going to show you what comes in the box, how to put it together, and the tools needed to do it. So let's get started. First, we're going to walk through the parts that are going to come in the box to assemble the cabinet. And then we're going to talk about the tools it takes to assemble the cabinet and install it on the wall. So first and foremost, we have our cam pins, heavy duty cam pins. Then we're going to have our door side soft close bloom hinges. Then we're going to have our cabinet side hinges. And in this particular unit, we're going to be using T-pulls. You can also get these cabinets in all C-pull full edge handles, which will go on just a slight different way. We're going to have our levels. We're going to have our cabinet clamps, our number 2 screwdriver. We're going to have our cordless impact driver, stud finder, tape measure, and our cabinet jacks. The components to our cabinet includes a bottom and a top plate that can go either on the top or the bottom. We'll have our nailers that can be placed in any one of the 3 spots of the side plate. The side plates can be either on the left or the right, and the doors can also be placed either on the right or the left. All right, we have one of our master installers, Nick, that's going to show us exactly how to put the cams in and set the first nailer to the bottom piece. The first thing he's going to do is going to take one of his cams, heavy duty cams, and there's 3 existing holes in the nailer. So he's going to take plastic side down and he's going to insert those into the hole, and there is a stop on the pin. And now he's going to insert the metal part of the cam into the existing holes on the side, or on the top and bottom piece. And once he does that, he takes his number 2 Phillips screwdriver and he's going to turn until it's tight. Now when he turns, when it's tight, you're going to have this little extra push that really seals it up, and it's enclosed. Step 2, we're going to put our bottom plate, our center nailer, and our top plate onto our side panel. So Nick is now going to install the cams the same way with our plastic piece down. And then he's going to take our first bottom plate with the nailer already on it. And he's going to be able to set that right on top. And then take his number 2 screwdriver and tighten them on. So again, as he turns them, he's going to have that final little turn to really tighten it down. And now the bottom nailer and the bottom of the cabinet are installed. He moves over to his middle nailer, where he's going to set 2 cams in the pre-existing holes. He's going to have his center nailer. And he's going to tighten those on. Now this one will be a little wobbly until we get our top plate on, but the cams will hold it up. Then he's going to put his 5 pins in on what will be the top of the cabinet. Again, the top and the bottom of the cabinet can be swapped. So if you wanted that as the top or that as the top, it doesn't matter. Then he's going to take his, let's call it the top plate with the nailer, and he's going to install that on the cams. And once he gets those on, again, metal part of the cam up. He's going to tighten his 5 cams. And then step 2 is complete. Step 3, we're going to insert our cams into the remaining 10 spots on the second side plate. And then we're going to lift the side plate onto the cabinet. So once he installs the 10 cams, again, plastic down, metal stud part up. Now you can do this by yourself with a little bit of skill, but if in a larger cabinet, like our pantry style cabinets, it's best to have a second hand to come and help you lift it onto the cabinet. We happen to have Zach here. He's going to give Nick a hand. And so when they turn this over, you would think the cans would fall out, but they don't because they're clicked in. So they can lift it up and then they can align their holes, and they always want to make sure they're aligning that back nailer also. Once they set it on, they're going to tighten the cams. And from that point, the cabinet is built. In step 4, we're going to carefully pivot the cabinet up onto its bottom, and then we're going to mount it onto what we created was a cart with 4 casters. Easier for a guy to do a single job by himself, or in a larger cabinet situation, it allows them to move that cabinet around where they need to go. So they're going to lift the cabinet, they're going to turn and install it onto the cart so they can easily move the cabinet into position and use the jack stands to get it at the height that they want to, either above the stem wall or above the trim or wherever the customer desires to have the cabinet. And in this situation, we used a garage that has stud walls just to give you an idea that we're going to be going the studs and how we mount them through the nailers. On a finished garage situation, you're going to want to make sure you go and pre-find your studs with your stud finder and mark them. So what the guys do now, they rolled it into position. Our cabinets are mounted on the wall with no feet. You can add optional feet if need be, but in this situation, we're not. So they're now going to take the cabinet and get it in the position they want, which they did. They rolled the cart over, and now they're going to take their jack stands and get it the desired height. So let's have Nick go ahead and let's get this thing mounted. We're going to mount this thing about 6 inches off the ground because that's how high the stem wall is. So he's going to take his jack stands, as you can see, puts them under the cabinet, and he can jack this up to within a 1/16 of an inch. So he's just going to jack it up. He's got about 3 more inches to go. And that's good right there. And now he's going to get his level on it to make sure you're plumb on the side, on the front, and across the bottom. Now he'll check his front, just in case you have to shim it. He's going to check his bottom. And at this point, we're level. And now we're going to install it onto the wall. We recommend 3-inch screws. So what you're going to do is on each stud that is behind the cabinet, you're going to have screws in all 3 nailers. And so Nick's going to go ahead and, again, if you have a drywalled wall, you're going to want to have those marked beforehand. This is going to be easy because we just have the studs visual so you can see what we're doing. So Nick's going to go ahead and put his first screw in. Once he puts his first screw in, he's going to do a level again. Just to make sure everything's plumb. Now he's going to mount the rest of the screws in. So again, on this particular cabinet, we have 3 studs behind the cabinet. So we're going to have 3 screws in each one of the nailers. So we're going to install the shelves prior to putting the doors on. You can then measure the inside of the cabinet from inside bottom to inside top. And then that number is 90. the inside, that 3/4 on the top, 3/4 on the bottom would be 88. So roughly that's going to be about 18 inches in between shelves. And how we came up with that number is we took the inside height, we divided, we're putting 4 shelves in, so we divided by 5 spots. So now Zach's going to go ahead and put the cams in every 18 inches. Now your client can move this around because it's completely adjustable on your hinges, number one. Number two, if you're using this cabinet to store tall things and you don't have any shelves in, that's an option. If you were going to be putting golf bags in the bottom and then all your accessories on the top, then you would set your cabinet above your clubs and then have shoes and extra, balls and accessories for your golf game. So what we do typically when we quote a cabinet is we quote 4 on our tall boys, our 6-footers we quote 3, and then we quote 1 on all our base cabinets and wall cabinets. So here he's going to go every 18 inches, and then we're going to go ahead and put our shelves in. In this stage, we're installing the cabinet side hinge into pre-existing holes, flipping over the flange, which expands inside the hole, giving a secure fit. He's going to then knock down the hinges, make sure everything works. Now he's going to install the cabinet size clamps into the pre-existing holes, flipping over the flange, also expanding the insert to give a secure fit. Now he's going to install the door by flipping the top and the bottom hinge out so he can insert the door side clamp into the cabinet size clamp. All right, we're going to install the handles on the cabinet doors now. So these are T-pull handles. So we have pre-existing holes where the screws are going to come through. And on a full edge handle, we'll just have a full C handle that you push over the top of the cabinet. But on this particular one, it's just a T-pull handle. So he's going to get them in, tighten them, and it's pretty easy from that point on. Last and final stage of installing a cabinet is adjusting the doors. So there are 3 6-way adjustable hinges. So you can change the gap between the doors. You can change the distance the cabinet's out from the door. And you can change the height of the doors individually or together. So the first adjustment is this screw here, where you can turn to go either closer or farther for the gap. This screw here will push the door closer or farther away from the cabinet. And this door here, as you watch this hinge, can bring it down or bring it up. So to wrap up our installation of a cabinet, we have now built a cabinet, installed a cabinet, set the doors and adjusted the doors, which now turns a floor-only client into a floor and storage client, which makes them happy and your bottom line bigger. Thanks again for watching.